Hey YouTube, we're back with another off-the-cusp reaction video. This time we'll be reacting to the new document called The Siege of Berlin, Leutgard. This document was actually mainly produced by Patrick, so big props to him. Thank you, Patrick J. Smith, Grand Chairman of Zaenderism, for putting this together. I did proofread it a little bit. I did have a role in this document, but unfortunately, because of doxing threats and whatever else, you know, he's laying a little low right now. But all of that aside, we are going to review this document and maybe give more depth to it, more context rather, so to speak. So, and we're going to review some screenshots. Something new just came out. Apparently, a young girl was berated in a VC and claims to have been verbally abused by me and forced to screen share her DMs. We are going to discuss that and what happened there. But before we get into that, I want to get into this document, and we're going to read through it. So it starts with the prelude. On June 26th, a hit piece was created by the Roblox criminal records against Alexander using faulty claims and screenshots to defame Alexander. This 300-page monstrosity resulted in a Robloxian trial conducted by Leutgard, with presiding judges all being a part of the nation of Etonia, which Leutgard owns. During this trial, Leutgard heavily influenced this tribunal and began the behind-the-scenes collaboration with RCR to provide Alexander with the harshest punishment possible to pave the way for complete control over Stalemated, which is a monopoly owned by Leutgard. So it kind of goes in. We're not going to read all of it, but that's pretty much a synopsis. After Alexander's total removal, Leutgard ended his facade of neutrality and began to actively attempt to destroy Alexander by any means necessary, using blackmail, doxing, extortion, coercion, intimidation, and misinformation. This pure hatred has resulted in Leutgard collaborating with actual groomers and cyber criminals. And when they say that, they're referencing people like Mors Riem, who the Cadens and the Regios allege that Leutgard is associating with to take me down, exposing the hypocrisy of Leutgard and Etonia in one full swoop. This document will make theories in the exact same way RCR did, using screenshots that provide very clear context of what is going on, and also making theories on screenshots that provide little context or information. So this whole document, the basis of the document is basically to expose Leutgard in the same exact way that RCR did. That is hinted by the name. They named their document Siege of Constantinople. This document is named Siege of Berlin. And basically it is using images and screenshots, primarily of which result or have context, and making theories based on those screenshots. Now, unlike the RCR document, there is a lot of concrete screenshots. A lot of it is clear cut and dry that he is trying to summon doxers to go after me. But we also are trying to make theories based on what is going on. It's in another way of saying it, you know, we're trying to use the method of reflecting. I think it's what it's called. It's not projecting, it's called reflecting, which is when you use a tactic your enemies are using against them to show them how their tactics are faulty. So I'll give you an example. There is no proof that Leutgard is working with Mors Riem, but there are allegations and people that claiming that he is, and based on Leutgard's reaction to those claims, we can assume a theory that he is working with Mors Riem to take me down. That's an example of using that claim against him. In the same way that me saying that I own a person, I effing own this person. People say that that is proof that I'm grooming someone. We know that that's not the case. We know that it is a theory based on a screenshot that they're using. The original screenshotter of that theory, Multithadar, has claimed that the context was not grooming, that it was something else. Despite that, people claim otherwise. We're doing the same exact tactic against Leutgard and using it against him. So the first screenshot that we have here is Leutgard trying to convince John Reggio, a known cybercriminal doxer, to work with him and the Cadens against Alexander. I talked to Mike RCR about John Reggio, and this is not a very good person. He has been accused of having, and these are all allegations that I've not seen that are unproven, but he's been accused of having CP. He is someone who has swatted people. He is someone who has doxed people. He was the enforcer for Mors Riem. He was Mors Riem's enforcer at one point. What does that really tell you about this person? I mean, he's not a good person. Leutgard's defense of this was, I didn't know who John Reggio was. I just saw a guy named John who was in charge of the Ken Inquisition. I assumed that he was just a Caden guy. Okay. Well, you still work with someone who we all know is a swatter, a doxer, and not a very good person. You know. And then we have this other screenshot where Silas, known as S, has a screenshot of Stab Zone. Stab Zone as Morris Riem, and he says Zone has control over Octavium, soon Teutonia. Morris, by the way, pedophile. Leutgard says, why are they babbling delusionally about Teutonia? Doesn't mention Morris, doesn't mention the allegations about Zone controlling Octavium and Teutonia. Doesn't mention, Morris getting called a pedophile. Morris Riem, known as Stab Zone, claiming he has control over Octavium and soon Teutonia. And you can read about it here. And this goes into very depth. Morris is 27 years old. The victim was 16. Wait. I'm trying to think. Allegedly, it started when she was 15, turning 16. And it started in 2023, I think. Yeah. It started in 2023, and she was 15 going on 16. And, this is a very long document. I'm not going to go through it, but, this is not a good person. This is not a good person. There's undeniable proof. I'm not going to go through the whole document, obviously. You can read it yourselves. I'll link the document in the description. But he's not a good person. And he went after this girl a second time back in, I want to say April or March or May, maybe. And he tried to extort her a second time, threatening to leak supposed nudes in reaction. Silas Cadden also confirms that Arian controls Rising Calavos, current owner of Octavium. And then we have this screenshot where what I want to bring up is everything against Alexander from the platform. Yes, we're aware of this. This is why we have moved to act in your favor. What are these acts that he's referring to? He's not referring to making a new document on me. The documents are already released. He's not talking about a new video on me. He's not talking about rallying manpower to raid my games. He's not talking about AAing my group. He's talking about doxing and swatting and breaking and other means of illegal and immoral activities to chase me off the platform, to say, hey, Alexander, we have your docs, we have your family's information, and we're going to come after you and destroy you, ruin your life unless you get off the platform. That's what they're talking about. And Leutgard knows this. Leutgard knows that the Caddens and the Regios are not some force of LARP. They're not a LARP force. They're not a roleplay group. They're not a AAing organization. There is no such thing as an organization that's hired AA groups. They are an organization that doxes people, that does, white hat hacking. That's who they are. And you'll see this in this chat log. That's what they talk about. But Leutgard then says, you should really be in on this crusade. What does that mean? Be in on this crusade? That means they should be up in arms against me, attacking me, harassing me, using typical Cadden tactics to go on the offensive. I'm completely aware that everything I say gets back to someone. We have this other screenshot. That it is settled. I will focus Inquisition efforts on this crusade against Alexander. We will make short work of him considering what we already have against him. I am sure that we can make Alex stay away for good this time. What does that mean? I'd appreciate, this is Leutgard speaking, I'd appreciate if you can keep Tony and Stellamated name out of any communications. Why is that? Why is Leutgard concerned about this getting out to the public? Why is Leutgard concerned about this becoming a public ordeal where he gets accused of doxing people? We need to appear as though we aren't all working together. The Caddens and the Regios swat me and dox me and attack me, and Leutgard has nothing to do with it. Very interesting. There is no reason for this drama or war. We have no reason to fight each other. So he's concerned about the Caddens going after him. And at some point in this conversation, they mention how the Caddens are doxing Teutonia and going back and forth at each other. So he doesn't want them to go after him. But go after me? Oh, for sure. I encourage you to go after him all day, every day. Really? Very interesting. John Richard responds, we agree that all this silly drama is futile, referring to the war between the Caddens and Teutonians. At the end of the day, we just want to enjoy this platform without conflict, referring again to the Caddens and Teutonians. Reach out if you ever need anything. Cadden is always prepared to help. Interesting. Whatever the situation may be. And they confirm that I'm the target. They confirm they're completely focused on me, that they will come after me. And then Myraka, who is known as Amegon. Some of you may know these names, Silas, Amegon, John Reggio, from previous documents, from previous cybercriminal wars and the, cybercriminal mafia networks. Yeah, I've been told them this, and they don't want to speak with Alec, who's spoken now. Silas or John, you can make a statement on this, but rest assured, the fight will be taken to Alec by your side at Leutgard. I think it would be healthy for the genre as a whole. Ken isn't the malicious boogeyman it used to be. They have no bad intentions. Otherwise, I wouldn't be actively here trying to make peace between you both. I think if they had some sort of stance and stalemate and took up arms to work alongside you to take down Alec, it would be a new era of the genre. For many years, Ken has been impartial in the genre, basically attacking everyone and anyone. You've got the opportunity to forge a strong alliance, Leutgard. Silas isn't like past imperators. He's a good man, and he wants to build just a strong community that partakes for fun with everyone else. I'm sure you can see that. So they go on about how him and his goons have a lot of shit on Alec. Let's remind the audience, okay, these are not, allegations. They don't have screenshots like dirt on me. They're referring to we can dox him, swat him, go after him, and do things against him that inflict real damage, or rather use it against him to blackmail him into leaving the platform. That's what they're referring to. There is nothing else they're referring to. And are more than capable of running him off the platform. And then John says, completely and without error. So they reassure Leutgard again and again and again and again and again that they can do this without a doubt. This also makes perfect sense. Calibos just bought Octavium and wanted to appoint Silas as superior, but was receiving negative feedback from the toy team. Part of the conversation of Calibos was we can happily appoint Silas as planned, and they can work on rebuilding Octavium from the ground up. I think this is Leutgard speaking again, I think a good sign of faith on your part would be to join the crusade against Alec unreservedly. And what does unreservedly mean? Let's look this up on Google, because some people don't know what that means. Without reservations, completely, frankly, and openly. So Leutgard's not saying attack him, but don't do anything illegal. Attack him, but don't do anything immoral. Attack him, but don't dox or swat or brick him. He's saying attack him and do it without reserve, without sitting back and saying, well, wait a second, this is illegal. Well, wait a second, this is immoral. That's what Leutgard's doing. That's what he's saying right now. He is saying to use every weapon at their disposal against me, my family, my friends, my inner circle, and that's exactly what they're doing. That's why Patrick is laying low. That's why Random G. Smith is laying low. That's why this poor girl who is 15 years old was harassed by Arian. That's why they're doing this to these people. It's not just me. They're doing this to a lot of my inner circle too, because they're desperate to win a total victory against me where we're completely written off from the platform. After that, we can work out some kind of participation once Alec is gone. Because Myarka wants some sort of group in Stalemate. He wants to form a Cadden Empire in Stalemated. Leutgard responds, we can work out some kind of participation once I'm gone. He's saying that once I'm gone, he can get them a group, a spot, as payment for their services within Stalemated. At some point in the conversation, he also mentions the fact that he can make them the Imperator of Octavium with his influence over Rising Calivos. Interesting. Very interesting. S. Salas once again bringing up more Stab Zone, working out with Leutgard. I'll get back to you on that. Waiting for my convo with Myarka. Has Zone tried talking to you? Morris Ream, Stab Zone. I heard they messaged you. Morris Ream, the pedophile, who extorts underage girls for nudes, who is addicted to cam-girling people, who's addicted to doing, to CP basically by extorting these girls for nudes. That Morris Ream? The Morris Ream that we just exposed and we just showed the document of him. But we're interested in having involvement in Arbor 2 like a Megon. We just don't have a proper way of doing that when we haven't been able to. We'd like to assist you and doesn't have to involve Gab or anyone you dislike. And there's no response to this as far as I can see. He once again, he ignores whether Morris Ream is with him or not. Very sus. Very weird. They mention this drama. They mention Arian. Leutgard denies a friendship with Arian. He denied this in court. He denied this now, saying he only works with Arian to keep off of his group and get information. And again, this is an example of us making a theory based on an out-of-context screenshot, in the same way that Leutgard and RCR did that to me, by the way. So let's use a taste of his own medicine against him. To gain info could mean anything. It could mean he's getting doxes on people. It could mean he's getting information on Arian and what he's doing. It could mean that he's aware of Arian trying to dox people. And if Arian was doxing me and Random and Patrick and Paul and other people in my group, based on this conversation, can we really assume that Leutgard would not care? Can we assume that Leutgard would say, Arian, stop doxing Alexander, stop doxing Pa, stop doxing these other guys? Do you think that Leutgard would really pull back and say that to these people based on this conversation he's having with the Cadens and Reggio? I don't think so. I think that's a very accurate theory. And that's a very good theory based on what could happen based on his friendship with Arian. Why is he still friends with Arian? Why is he talking with the Cadens, with Salus and Omegon and John Reggio, trying to get them to launch a crusade against me? A crusade of doxing and swatting against me. Very illegal, very immoral, unlike his claim in his video that we'll watch in a little bit. Arian's also worked very closely with 100% confirmed pedophile Moors. They mention Moors for a third time. Leutgard finally responds, Moors is a confirmed pedo? Very known information. From what? He questions it. He doesn't say, oh, I'll stop working with him. He doesn't say, oh, I'm not working with him. He doesn't say anything along those lines. He says, wait, he's a pedo? From what? I don't really buy these claims. He doesn't say that, but he's basically insinuating that. From what? Well, all these question marks, all these concerns, I don't really know. I don't really know if he's a pedo. I don't really know if he is in these chat logs you have here. And then they move on from the topic. He then moves on again from the topic and says, yeah, forget about Boers. Who did I talk about with the doxing stuff? Who did I talk to who's in charge of Cadden? Who's in charge of the Cadden? The guy that does the doxing and the swatting. Who's in charge here? That's his main concern right now. Who do I speak to about Cadden? Oh, okay. And if you look in this part, they say, we're just here to demolish Alec. We want to let's make peace with the Caddens, let's call Arian off, and let's demolish Alec. And then Leutgard replies to that sentence that says demolish Alec and says, who do I speak to in Cadden about this though? Interesting. And then he says again in this conversation, things are escalating rapidly, we have a doxing war on our hands, we've already confirmed that Cadden has several doxes of those in Teutonia. This goes both ways. So that means Leutgard has doxes on Cadden. That's very concerning. The fact that they know that they're saying that Leutgard has doxes on Cadden and vice versa, is very concerning. Was there a dox war behind the scenes between Cadden and Teutonia? Does Teutonia have cyber criminals that are executing these dox wars against the Caddens, like they're insinuating in this screenshot here? And then Leutgard responds in regards to Alexander. I think it's in regard to Cadden. We should crush them, no? Give me your thoughts. And he could be referring to two things. Either the Caddens, as in we could crush the Caddens with our doxing, with our doxes that we have on Caddens, or it could be saying we should crush Alexander instead. We should unite, make peace, and instead wage a dox war against Alexander. There's two ways it could go. And if he is doing these dox wars, who are his enforcers? Is Arian part of this team of doxers in Teutonia who are doxing the Caddens, according to this chat log where he says this goes both ways when referring to doxes those within Teutonia? It goes both ways. What is that referring to? We want to avoid a dox war that goes back and forth at all costs. Really? That goes back and forth. That means Teutonia is doxing the Caddens and the Caddens are doxing Teutonia. Leutgard does not deny this. Leutgard does not say we're not doxing you. Leutgard's not denying these allegations. He says, we could crush you. Hey, Cadden, you're right. We could crush you. Or it could be saying, yeah, you're right. We want to crush Alexander. And then John Cadden gives a testimony. At the time in question, I, Marshal John R. Cadden, acting as head of Chat Inquisition, was present in a group that chat initiated by the individual known as Leutgard. This chat was formed through the involvement of ex-Imperator Omegon Cadden, who facilitated the introduction during this exchange. Leutgard presented the matter as part of a broader crusade directed against Alexander, the former leader of Octavium. It is important to note that the Cat Inquisition, the division I commanded, is historically recognized for operations involving doxing, extortion, and other forms of direct coercion. Really? Whoa, really? The Caddens are doxers? I had no idea. I didn't... Look, I respond, I had no idea the Cat Inquisition were a bunch of doxers. I thought they were like a LARP army. That like, declared war on groups. No, Leutgard was fully aware of who the... I think we all know who the Caddens are. Leutgard fully aware of this reputation nonetheless elected to approach me and my division for support in this campaign. The tone and structure of the conversation in which he sought our active participation left the implicit expectation that our usual methods would be employed. By creating a group chat with a body such as the Cadons, and by framing the matter as a crusade against a target, Leutgard was clearly soliciting actions beyond simple observations or commentary. We all know this. While he avoided explicit language directly requesting doxing or further measures, the implication was unmistakable. Involving the Kent Inquisition in any campaign carries a certain understood outcome, and Leutgard's decision to do so demonstrated a willingness to leverage those outcomes against Alexander. He's not wrong. I can confirm as a first-hand participant that these actions and choice of participants made his intent evident, even in the absence of overt instruction. That's just the whole thing with the Cadons. Now we need to debunk the trial. Testimony from Patrick J. Smith. After being appointed to the tribunal for Alexander's trial, a meeting occurred between the tribunal, during which we had all agreed to vote Alexander innocent, as none of us believed that Alexander was a groomer or cybercriminal for that matter. This agreement was made after the RCR document had been released, and nobody on the tribunal had really bought such slanderous claims. What changed were the various calls between Adelwin, which is Adam, Lohengrin, which is Lordist, and Hoggart, which is Howard Rosenberg, and Leutgard. Mind you, these three at the time were in Teutonia. That's right. Howard, Lordist, and Adam were both in Teutonia during this trial, and all three of those people were also former members of Octavium. They were former Supreme Command of Octavium, by the way, and are still in service to Teutonia, all of them reinforced by Leutgard's influence and opinion on the matter, stating that nothing was off the table and that Alexander should be prosecuted to the fullest extent. So, I'm not going to read all of this, but he mentions that they took 5 minutes to produce a verdict, and that after the verdict was done, they immediately said, let's take Octavium by force. Let's run Octavium, let's clean it up, let's replace Alexander, and we, the tribunal, will rise and run Octavium. That's what they claimed. That's what they declared. So, they tried to take it over, it failed. Throughout various group chats, they declare that they were scared to find me, they were scared to find me innocent because Leutgard would have punished them. There would have been dire consequences had I been found innocent. There were threats against them. There were claims against them. Leutgard said that I want to see all the evidence laid out, and I want to see Alexander prosecuted to the fullest of the extent. So they convened. So this is when the trial finished. Tony releases the verdict, and then he gets removed. Now they're conspiring to take over Octavium without Tony, because Tony, I believe that he was trying to be neutral. If you're doing anything with Octavium, it has to be now. I forward Adam to establish a new leadership. Seconded. So they immediately try to take over Octavium, and then immediately talk about co-opting Oswald against me, co-opting Howard Hughes against me. They're trying to do moves to take over Octavium after I'm removed. And the tribunal, the so-called neutral tribunal that's supposed to be impartial in neutrality, immediately moves to take over and run Octavium. So there's a motivating factor to my guilty plea, to being guilty. And then they say, can we scapegoat Tony for the guilty verdict? Bro, it would have been easier if we weren't on the panel, to be honest. We were beginning talks with Howard Hughes. Don't give Howard any bargaining power. We can easily unite him under our banner and have a stable future for Octavium. So and then in this screenshot, they say, so ask him to appeal regarding the trial. That's referring to the trial that I'm allowed to appeal and do a retrial to be declared innocent, I guess. I will. He is, I'm pretty sure. He's a Clemenzes. And then Adam says, Alec made a speech about I want to be talks towards others, even when he had nothing to lose when he made that speech. Leutgard says, Adam, you are compromising that verdict by this clear attitude of losing your mind over this. The verdict is being compromised because of his attitude. We should be able to allow him to appeal. There's some things that are adding up here. I don't think he deserved a punishment. Come on, Leutgard. He's innocent. He's innocent. Adam, stop saying that. Adam, you're compromising the verdict. You're gonna make us look bad by saying that. Very interesting. Very interesting indeed. Lorda says, I'd rather stay in Teutonia than pledge loyalty to Howard. And then Leutgard says, but you are serving me by pretending to serve him. I have had an entire staff waiting for this, been building it up for months. And then he shows a screenshot of Ruler's Commissariat Southland. But they can't do it alone. Really? Really? They've been planning this out for months. So Leutgard didn't see the RCR document and think he's guilty. Yeah, Alexander's guilty. He's a groomer. He's been planning this for months in advance. There's the evidence. Months in advance, it's been planned. So this trial, well, how convenient is that? He's got an entire staff ready. He's got an entire leadership team ready to take over Octavium. And there's the RCR document. Leutgard thinks, wow. Well, this is real convenient then. Let's do a trial. We'll call him guilty. We'll do a coup d'etat, take over Octavium, put in the new Teutonian staff, establish Octavium as a Teutonian puppet, and we're good. How convenient. How convenient is that? We can't say it was Leut. True, we'd be targeted. We can't say it was Leut in regarding to the guilty verdict. Who pressured the verdict? Who said we should vote guilty? We can't say it was Leut. We'd be targeted. And Andy says true. Someone deleted a message here. Why is he saying true? What is that in response to? What is that in response to? Very suspicious. We'd be targeted. I wish I wasn't the tribunal, to be honest. I'd rather have Alec hate me than Leut and Alfar were too. Evilheart exposes his colors that he's not here to be the arbiter of truth. He's not here to do the right thing and say what's right. He is doing this. The reason why he is doing this is because of his reputation. Well, it's bad optics because Alec is more hated right now, regardless of the truth. That was stupid. Should be at least, I don't know. You know, throughout this entire conversation, they're regretting their decision because they know that I'm innocent and they know that the coup is not going to work. Octavium is not going to follow them. And they really realize, well, then, why do we do this? If the Octavian people are not with Alexander, why do we find him guilty? If Alexander is irreplaceable, and if Octavian will die if we remove him, why do we find him guilty? Leutgard, this coup will not work. That's what's going on in these chat logs. This was all opportunism. It was not about the right thing. It was never about the right thing. You think that they cared about the victims? You think that they cared about Freya throughout any of this shit? They didn't. They never did. They cared about power. They cared about replacing me and taking power because I was a threat to their power in Teutonia. That's why they did this. Alec is too powerful. Yeah, true. Why is he unstoppable? I was so strong in my position, my prelate position. You effed up, Ka. There is no Octavian without Alexander. And then eventually, you know, a couple hours later, I have confidence in my own unbreakable loyalty in the Privy Council. Bro. And then they're already cringing. They're like, bro, really? Look at this guy. Look at this goofy gooster. And of course, the Privy Council fell apart because the cello got leaked. So I regret what I did. Alec gave us so many chances, and we do this. We betrayed Alexander. We gave him this verdict that he did not deserve, and we betrayed him. For what? He didn't deserve the verdict. That's what they're saying. Howard says, get a grip. Get a grip. Man up. Be a psychopath like I am and don't care about what the truth is, okay? And screw over Alexander because we get the benefit from it. Should we talk to Leut, VC, about us coming in or not? Howard is already secured. Again, they talk about trying to reverse the verdict, reverse the damage that's already done. You can't reverse the verdict. It's too late. This is about the RSO. You know, Leutgard says, I've changed. Leutgard says, I've changed. I don't do doxing anymore. The RSO thing of the past. And then we have a screenshot where he says, you know, we need to build a new intelligence network that is full of competent people, no leaks, it's compartmentalized to prevent leaks. So did the RSO really stop? Did it really die down? Or to this day, is it still continuing? Leutgard then goes on to dox member of Octavium, Will Verterian, and says, if you losers are going to cry about your members getting clapped back when they decide to really dox me, maybe you should never post my name and pixel me as Sandra in the first place. He then says on the alternative account Octurnus, owned by Leutgard, do we need to post your face pic again? And then proceeds to face Will Verterian's uncensored face from when he was 15 years old. You want to mention 15-year-old girls, Leutgard, like this paw girl. Why don't we mention the 15-year-old boy that you face doxed in the Octavium server? You lying, hypocritical piece of shit. leaking people's faces when they're a minor because they leaked a face of you when you were like 17 years old, as you claim. There's no proof of that, by the way, but as you claim, 17 years old, you lying hypocrite. Here's another screenshot. Brandon G. Smith says, praise the righteous, and sends a screenshot of Octavius threatening to leak a picture of Libertarian. Leutgard responds, yeah, he started it. What are we in middle school? Yeah, he started it. He started it. Libertarian started it. I'm going to dox the minor. The minor started it. Like, what would you do if he leaked a dick pic of you? Would you leak his dick pic when he's a minor too while you're at it? Like, to what extent are we going to play he said, she said? You're 29 years old. You're 28 years old. Like, you know, grow some balls or something. Instead of jacking off to gay porn and, you know, gay men at brothels, you know, maybe use it to grow some maturity. I'm happy to post his fat, ugly face. Huh. Oh, okay. Leutgard then says an announcement to Stalemated, which has members as young as 13 minimum. I just want to be clear that I'm not in a brothel right now denying Christian values. He says with a picture of a club that looks kind of like a brothel or some sort of like, you know, degenerative club of sorts. Leutgard would then go on to say that brothels, it was a joke. Next day he wakes up, oh shit, I posted that. He deletes the message. He deletes this entire message and then says, there's no brothels in England. England, you know, guys, listen, hear me out. Brothels are banned in England, so I could have gone to a brothel. Oh, okay. Oh, he said they're banned? Oh, right, brothels are banned, so it's impossible to go to a brothel in England. And then we did some research, and we found 4 different sources that say, and one of the examples is the Survival Sex Work chapter delves into the types of underground sex work in the Northeast, I'm assuming referring to Northeast Newcastle, including gay male activity in hidden settings. Very interesting. And that doesn't give us a year, but we can assume that it's probably recently. There's other examples, like the University of Bristol Home Office study in 2019, which is on hidden brothels within the broader typology of sex work settings across England and Wales. Brothels do exist. They don't exist legally, but they do exist in England. Let's not be retarded here. And we know that Leutgard is an active participant in hookup culture. He does use apps where he hookups to have gay sex with other men. He does use online dating apps. He is definitely an active sex freak. We know this because he brags about it on a daily and encourages his members to partake in hypersexual behavior. So it is not really something that is out of the blue to say that Leutgard is someone who actively participates in sex and attends a brothel. Even if that's not true, even if it was a joke, why would you announce that to your members as a joke? That you are at a brothel denying Christian values? Members as young as 13 years old. Why would you announce that, even if it's a joke? That's why you deleted it from the estimated announcement in the first place, because it does look bad regardless of whether it's a joke or not. Just saying. In this screenshot, a guy goes on about Christianity. I don't know if it was ironic or not, but he just mentions Christianity in a out of context light. Leutgard says, are we talking about this stupid effing religion again, referring to Christianity? Leutgard said in 2022 in the Good Standing Agreement that he would stop slandering Christianity, that he would stop attacking Christianity, that he would be nice, that he would respect Christians and stop being discriminatory. Is that really so? If that's true, why are you still insulting Christianity? Why in your servers is Christianity still being discriminated against by your high-ranking members and by you yourself? Leutgard responds in response to this document, or the release of this document, that the full content of the conversation, I mean, we have the full content here. There, as you can see in our version of the chat log, nothing is blurred out. His version of the chat log is missing screenshots. It's blurring out names. It's blurring out PFPs. It is like a CIA document. It's like when the CIA released the Epstein files. It's a completely censored mess. He admits that he approached the Cadans for assistance and said he can make your own mind up. He does not deny the allegations that he approached them to dox them. Personally, I do not regret anything in the balancing act of keeping Cellmate out of drama and ensuring Alec's total and complete destruction. There is no denial in this announcement or apology for what was said or done. Alec and his goons have repeatedly called for my death IRL in their server. And let me ask, is there proof of this? We've called for Leutgard's death. Where's the evidence? People in glass houses shouldn't throw stones. Exactly. People in glass houses like you who made a document, or didn't make a document, sorry, did a trial against me and removed me, considering your allegations and your conduct and your behavior, throwing stones at my brick house. You are in the glass house, not me, Lewis. Not me. He then tries to convince Anzair, also known as Konvara, to join his ranks. Keep in mind that Leutgard did a trial where he not only banned me, but all the people in the RCR document. That includes Colt, Jules the Apostle, also known as Brum Moment, Konvara, State Trooper, James Earhart, and a number of other people. Konvara was in that document. It seems like Leutgard makes an exception. If you betray Alexander, then I will not only forgive you and bring you back into Tonia, like we did with James Earhart, but we'll also talk to Mike, and, he'll remove your section from the document. Really? So is this about justice and truth? Or is this just about removing Alexander because it's convenient to you, and I'm inconvenienced to you with what I'm doing? I'm not going to go into this, but that is true. There is someone that I'm not going to name who told me that at 17, Leutgard was very open about sexuality with him and would often try to use his phone number to use for online hookup apps. What is going on? Like, what the hell is going on, Lewis? Come on, man. According to you, that's grooming. According to you, that's grooming someone for gay sex, because at 18 years old, why did you offer to fly him out? You met him when he was 16, online. At 17, you were open with him about your sex life. At 18, you're trying to fly him out for sex. I'm not saying that's grooming. I don't know if that's grooming. You're saying that that's grooming. You're saying that if that happened to a girl who's 17, that's grooming. But when it happens to a boy who's 17 or 18 years old, then it's not grooming. You pick and choose based on your convenience. And that's pretty much, the ending does say to pray for Leutgard's soul. It doesn't say to here to expose him, which I like. I like that it's a wholesome message. It's not about just exposing him. Now, let's get into the recent bombshell that dropped on me. It's only 4 screenshots. This is Paw. What happened with Paw is that actually they were trying to essentially dox her. By they, I mean Arian was trying to dox her and said, hey, Paw, I need you to make up something on Patrick. Call him a groomer or we're going to dox you, and call your parents and call your school and ruin your life. Paw comes to us and tells us about this, and they make a group chat, or they add me to a group chat, or we're already in a group chat, and they screen share everything that's going on. Okay. So they show us everything that's going on. We send it all to RCR Mike, and RCR Mike takes action. I don't want drama, but Alec and his whole gang were rude when I was screen sharing. Whoa, we were rude. We were verbally abusive. Yes, yelling at me and shit. Alec was, not the others. Then he muted me and kept telling me to shut up. Whoa, he's trying to groom a girl into being quiet. He's trying to groom a girl into shutting the F up when she's being too loud. Let's watch the video they provide for this. He's a big deal around here. We got to talk to Mike. So, basically, this document exposed him for trying to work the Caddens and John Reggio to go out.
Next starting little. Yo.
If you keep talking, I'm going to go to.
No, look at the screen share. Look.
I don't really care.
Okay.
Look at it. Okay. I don't really care. I'm talking to RCR Mike. He's a big deal. We're doing business. I don't really care. I don't really care about Arian. You think I care about Arian? You think that I give a shit about what he's doing? I don't give a shit. Go. And just like, okay, Okay, Alexander. Okay. Okay, so, anyways. Basically, we exposed Leutgard for trying to work with the Caddens and John Reggio and shit. And Leutgard actually responded and stalemated. And he doubled down and said he has no regrets, I deserve it. And basically that he had no idea who anyone was. He gave the same exact excuse. Not the exact same excuse, but a similar excuse that I gave about the CNR situation. Which is very, very funny to me, because it's like you would think he would have learned a thing or two from that, from my mistakes, but his is even worse. Anyway, at least in my situation, it was like, I didn't know anyone was going to dox anyone. But Leutgard was in that JC knowing what the Caddens and Regis were going to do to me. And he fully supported what they were going to do to me because of our rivalry. And that got exposed in the document. That's like the main piece. The trial part is another important piece.
Oh,
I'm going to meet you. God.
no, you're cooked, look!
You're cooked, look! Let me play that again. I'm like, I'm cooking, I'm exposing Leutgard. And then this girl is like, look, you're cooked! It's like, dude, like, shut up! I don't care, You're so abusive, Alexander. I'm gonna meet you, I swear to God.
No, you're cooked, look! You're cooked!
And then I muted her. Anyways, Mike. Sorry, Mike, that this annoying girl was being annoying. This is the hit piece on me, the new hit piece on me. Really? Are we serious right now? This is the new hit piece on me. I'm being verbally abusive to a 15-year-old girl. Oh no! It's over! Oh, I can't take this take. I can't know this take. This is like retarded. This is the new hit piece on me. And then I want to review, this 10-minute. We're at what? We're at 40 minutes. All the TikTokers are gonna get pissed at me. Where's the Subway Surfers? Alexander, we need the Subway Surfers. Leutgard then would go on this freaking rant. We're going to pull up the video real quick.
Created his group.
He goes on a 10-minute rant after I made a speech, and the speech is on my other YouTube channel. The rally, the bi-weekly rally we did last Saturday, that video is what he's going to refer to. And he claims that in that video, we made death threats against him. Now, we're not going to watch the whole video, but he is seething. He is seething in this video.
Octavium.
We created Octavium.
Punching bag for the...
To serve as a punching bag for the ruler's god. He's like totally locked in.
Well, and they were never capable of meeting that expectation.
He's seething.
Because they live in an alternative reality of delusion and freakishness. And this is now...
an alternative reality of freakishness.
...reached a new level. I have in my possession now...
Good. I have in my possession now a 1-hour recording of Alexander and his followers chanting for my death. They want me dead in real life.
Now.
What?
An hour-long recording of Alec and his followers threatening death from the leadership of Teutonia and myself, threatening the destruction of the realm of stalemated.
Dude,
lying.
You are delusional. We gave a LARP speech. We gave a LARP speech. Okay? I have the transcripts. Mr. Leutgard. Let's pull up the transcripts. Or Saturday. They wished for my death. They called for my death. And if you want to watch the full speech, I'll link it in the description. Where's the death? Where is the death threats in this whole speech? Where is the death threats? You will replace us. We will replace you. Let's look up Leutgard. Leutgard breathing the outer necks. No more shared holder access. Leutgard pressured the tribunal. Leutgard made the worst mistake of his life. So that every traitor, we are coming for you. Leutgard released a poll demanding that the mass proposed be guilty. Leutgard, among others, claimed this was only because I wielded legal power over them. You're delusional! You're a lying... Hey, Leutgard, you're a lying... Hey, Louis Otto, you're a lying piece of shit. You're a fraud, you're a scam, and you're a hypocrite. Okay? Okay? You're a flaming homosexual. Okay, you're a lying piece of shit. And your days are numbered, dude. Your days are numbered. And you should not fear me, because I'm only a man. I'm only a mortal man. You should fear God. You should fear God. You should fear the day of judgment. Okay, you're afraid of death threats. You're not even getting death threats, okay? What you should be afraid is judgment day, okay? Repent of your sins. Repent of your evil and seek Christ, because your days are numbered. And I'm being called right now. Hold on. Okay.
About the circumstances which led to Alec's removal. Most of you witnessed the 6-hour-long trial during which Alec was exposed as a criminal and a deviant.
A criminal and a deviant.
Alec has twisted reality on its head to turn us into the evildoers.
Cause you are, bro. You're lying about me. You're saying that I'm verbally abusing young girls because they're screaming in a voice chat in an important call with Mike. You're going off on tangents, trying to dox my members. You're trying to dox me. You're working with the Cadets and the Regios. You are evil. You plotted an entire trial to remove me because I was your competition and we were better than you. We had better content than you. We had better rallies than you. And you wanted to plot this entire thing against us because we were better than you. And you rigged the trial, and you still lost. You suck at this game so much. You rigged an entire trial. You had a monastic hit piece on me. You have your immediate piece coming out on me soon. And you still lost Octavium. And you still wasn't able to encapsulate my following. Okay? You are an evil piece of amphibian shit. I don't hate you. Like, I don't hate you, but you're evil. You are evil, and we are coming for you. Not in a death threat swatting kind of way. Like you're going to twist my words and do, you lying piece of shit. But we are going to come for you in a expose way, in a hypocrisy way, okay? And most certainly your days are numbered, and that's not even a threat either. I mean, your days are numbered. You have to repent, you have to seek Christ, or you will burn in hell for eternity. I don't want that. I don't want that for anyone. I want that for my worst enemies. Take that as you will, bro. Take that as you will.
And to turn Alec into some kind of saint. So now is the time to mobilize the finest people the realm has to offer. It has to happen now. This operation, Stormwind, which you are being entrusted with, is for the complete and total eradication of Alec and his followers from the platform.
The complete and total eradication of Alec and his followers from this platform. This operation include like trying to dox me and work with the Cadens to like maybe like ruin my life. Like, I'm bored of this speech already, dude.
Their complete and total destruction.
You know, talk about Subway surfers. Can someone get some Subway surfers for this
of their
speech?
Groups, of their Discords, of their Discord accounts, of their YouTube accounts, of everything they're using to peddle their lies and viciousness.
We got the reincarnation of Nerf Dude 16 over here trying to mass report everything. Remember when that happened to you, Lewis, and you cried about it like a little bitch when you got mass reported every single group that you made and you were just so done with it? And now you're using it, it's like, okay, well, you're a hypocrite. You're a hypocrite.
Single method is authorized, with the exception of those methods which would be considered to be
I'm not going to finish watching this.
That means that the report function, that means if you are given admin in their servers, any kind of action
that's not going to happen.
That falls within those abilities.
You can try, but you will not succeed.
Is authorized. We already have many, many agents, but now is the time to strike even harder than ever before. So I'm charging the rulers marshal.
When does he start soy raging? He starts soy raging at some point.
Something difficult that requires your... This is the moment. If this place...
Oh, here it is. Here it is.
By every member of the RG. It must be executed to the full.
Watch this,
by the
watch
leadership
this.
Of the RG. If I leave this place and come back and nothing has been done, then heads will roll.
Heads will roll! He's pissed. He is so pissed off in this speech. He's like he's literally doing the soy rage right now.
Because this is the moment. This is the time. This is the hour where you are being asked to do something. Something difficult that requires your complete devotion and participation. Something that requires you not to look back, not to waste time, not to regard this as simply a...
Dude, there's an edit someone made. Did they rename all the channels? They did. They renamed all the channels. Where is my edit? There was an edit. Oh, here it is.
If I leave this place and come back and nothing has been done, then heads will roll.
Hello, Insane Asylum. I'm coming to report that a mentally ill lunatic is trying to stop the rise of Christendom. Can you escort this mentally retarded freak out of this country? Thanks.
Dude, edit goes so hard. All right. Well, YouTube, thank you for watching. I really enjoyed this reaction content to the document and to Leutgard's mentally delusional rants. Hope you enjoyed. I had a lot of fun doing this. I should do this more often than I typically do. But thank you all for watching. Remember to leave a like, subscribe, join the Discord server. I know they're threatening, oh, we're going to ban you. Make an alt. Make an alt account, make an alt Discord account, and rejoin the server because we're not done. We're not finished, okay? We're just getting started, and we're winning, okay? Ignore the propaganda, ignore the threats, okay? We're going to win, and we're going to win big, trust me. So, thank you all for watching. Remember, Ave Zaenderism, Ave Alexander, Ave Christus Rex, Ave. Thank you all, and good night.